It is the 28th day of April, 2025. It's 9 a.m. We're in the Aquarium Education Center located at 706 Navigation Circle, Rockport, Texas, 78382. And I call this regular meeting to order. Please stand and join me with the invocation.
Please join me as I pray. Father, we're always thankful for the blessings of this new day and just how you walk with us, you travel with us everywhere we go, and you're here with us today in this house. And Father, we don't have to live very long along the road of life when we realize there's lots of twists and turns in that road, and there's lots of forks in the road where we have to make decisions which way we have to go. And these commissioners are burdened with the responsibility of making those same decisions for this county at every fork in the road. And Father, we just pray that you're with them this morning, that you give them your wisdom so that they make good decisions that benefit the citizens of this county. And we just give you the praise and the glory, for it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Join with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to the United States, one faith, under God, one indivisible.
All right, thank you. Roll call.
Commissioner Cheney,
Here.
Commissioner Casterling,
Here.
Commissioner Russo,
Here.
Commissioner Dukenyak,
Here.
Judge Joseph.
Here, we've got a full court. At this time, we'll hear from citizens to be heard. We've got one signed up, Mr. McCombs.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Justin McComb, 7809 Etienne Drive, Corpus Christi, Texas, 78414. Just wanted to come this morning and kick off the week, I guess, get started over here. As y'all know, last week, or I think y'all know, last Thursday, we received a letter from Ms. Martinez regarding some outstanding items, courthouse project. We were able to get a response put back together and emailed over to her yesterday. I know it was late in the afternoon. So I'm not sure if y'all had a chance to look at it or have seen it, but we did put in that letter. We just sent it to Judge Garza and Ms. Martinez yesterday, but asked that she share that with you guys in y'all's closed session today. We just asked that y'all take a few minutes to read through it and understand what all's in that letter. And if you got any questions, we'll be happy to answer them. Or if you don't have that report for some reason, just let me know and we'll get it sent over to you. But we do feel it's important to read and understand before we make any decisions. That's all I got.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Madam Clerk? Nobody? Colin, anybody online? All right. We'll go to item number 1.
Move to approve proclamation P-07-2025, recognizing the month of April as beach safety and lift awareness.
I'll second that.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Ms. Tracy will read the proclamation.
All right, this is a proclamation recognizing the month of April as Beach Safety and Rip Current Awareness Month in Aransas County. Whereas April is designated as Beach Safety and Rip Current Awareness Month, a time to educate residents and visitors about the importance of safety while enjoying our beautiful beaches. And whereas Aransas County is home to stunning coastal landscapes that attract many individuals and families for recreation and relaxation. And whereas rip currents pose a significant risk to beachgoers and can lead to dangerous situations if proper precautions are not taken. And whereas awareness and education about beach safety practices such as swimming near lifeguards, understanding rip current warnings, and knowing how to escape a rip current are crucial to ensuring the safety of all visitors. And whereas we encourage all residents and visitors to respect the ocean, follow safety guidelines, and participate in community efforts to promote a safe beach environment. Now, therefore, we, the Commissioners Court of Aransas County, do hereby proclaim the month of April as Beach Safety and Rip Current Awareness Month in Aransas County. We urge everyone to prioritize safety while enjoying our coastal resources and to spread awareness of beach safety practices. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Shane,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo. Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Stetser.
Aye. Motion passes. Item number 2. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, item number 2. We've got a presentation by Miss Stephanie Simmons on the Well Rockport entitled Building a Safe Haven for Survivors of Domestic Violence. Thank you, sorry.
Morning, thank you for having us. We are called The Well Rockport. We are a new organization that was created about a year ago. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. And we are focused on creating a safe haven for survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault. We are a faith-based organization. At the bottom of this slide, there is a scripture verse. It is, you may be familiar with the story of the woman at the well. And, but if not, it is, I'll give you the brief version. The Samaritan woman she went to get the water from the well at noon because that's when no other women would come. She was ashamed. She was an outcast, if you will. And so she went at that time, and that's where Jesus met her. And this is our desire. These women who have suffered from domestic violence or sexual assault often do feel neglected and unclean. And so it is our desire to have a space where they feel safe and heard. But Linda is also on our board. She's going to talk a little bit more about what domestic violence is.
And my name is Linda Coronado. I'm a board member. Prior to coming to my present job, I used to run a crisis center for victims of domestic violence and sexual assault in Hereford, Texas for 10 years. And so my heart was always with that, with that program. I left, but I was excited when I moved to Rockport and found out, about the well. And so I'm going to talk to you briefly about domestic violence. The definition is domestic violence is a willful intimidation, physical assault, battery, sexual assault, and/or other abusive behavior as part of a pattern of power and control perpetrated by an intimate partner against one another. It includes physical violence, sexual violence, threats, economic and emotional, psychological abuse. The frequency and severity of domestic violence varies. In 2022, we had, Aransas County had over 150 cases reported. Many of these are not prosecuted. And so you hear some, you usually hear in the news about the big, cases, but you never hear about the everyday cases. In my experience, I've worked with many that were unreported. Many times it was because of this threats. We hear many times people say, why doesn't she just leave? Well, we know that many times they don't leave because their chance for death increases after they actually leave the perpetrator. And so this happens with men, this happens with women, and this also happens with same gender. It's not specific to one socioeconomic area, one group. It just happens in all communities. And so of those, let's see. So we began serving, taking calls in June, and we had 18 callers. 5 of these women received critical help. They received emergency help, rental assistance. For some, they needed furniture. We were able to provide furniture. And so imagine if there's not that kind of help here in this area. There are 2 shelters in the area. There's the Purple Door, and then there's Mid Coast Family Services, and I believe that's in Victoria. So there are shelters that are serving some of the families. However, many times the victim doesn't want to leave the area, and the reason for that is their support system is here in Rockport. These shelters are also receiving clients from different areas, so there are, many times they don't have the space. They don't have the space to fit in another family. And so one of the things that we know is that every time that a child moves, they lose anywhere from 4 to 6 months of their education. They stay behind. That can be also emotionally. They transfer to a new school. The new school may be doing different curriculum. They may stay behind, but also they lose their family, they lose their friends, and like if they lose the support system. Same thing for the victim. And so it's crucial to have a place here in our area where we can keep them in the community. And so this is why we have, this is why we're also trying to build our own shelter here. Our mission is to provide a safe and supportive environment for women in crisis, offering counseling, education, crisis intervention, advocacy, resources to those experiencing domestic violence and sexual assault. And our vision is that through compassionate care, education, and community collaboration, we strive to empower women to be self-sufficient. We don't tell a victim, this is what you need to do. Even though we may feel like, hey, you need to do it, we can't tell them that. That's their choice. But we do try and empower them from the very beginning, from the first phone call. We try and empower them. We ask them questions so that they're making their own decisions and trying to guide them in a way that's going to keep them safe. Ultimately, it's going to be up to them whether they receive our services or not. But we want to be sure that when that call comes in, that we're ready to provide the services that they need.
And the other part of our vision is that we want to be a beacon of hope for women, their children, and or their pets. That's an important piece because we've learned that 62% of women do not leave because they can't take their pet with them. So these are our long-term goals. We are working towards raising enough funding to create a transitional housing space. This would provide a safe and supportive environment for women and their children. The plan is to be able to provide counseling services, job training, and assistance with obtaining permanent housing, right? We don't want them to be permanently living with us. We want to help them figure out how to get out on their own and rebuild their life. We are connecting with attorneys in the area that are helping with legal advocacy. And ultimately, we will have programming in place that will help them to build their life skills, independent life skills. These women have been often stripped of their ability to make any kind of decision. And so we want to help build that up, help them know how to do a budget and just basic things. So our impact in 2024, we've provided $2,350 in direct aid. This was to help women get to safe shelter, provide transportation, help them with rental and down payment assistance to relocate. We also provided $4,000 worth of in-kind donations, which included things like furniture, clothing, food, things that would help them rebuild their lives. Last year, we also received a grant we're very, very grateful for of $25,000 from Methodist Healthcare Ministries to help us get a start. We just recently submitted an application for one that we're very hopeful for as well. Currently, we offer a weekly book club, which is a place where women can come and connect with one another. We are doing quarterly synergy sessions. The next one will be coming up in May. And then in September, we'll be providing a fundraiser event that we're excited about and hope that the community will be very involved with. We would encourage any of you, if you're interested in learning more about us, to look us up. We have a website, we have a Facebook page. I will leave some business cards on the table in case anyone would like to grab one. We can't do this alone. So we are so thankful for the opportunity to share with you what we're doing. We're so thankful for the approval in January of the juror funds that are coming in. We got our first check for that. So thank you. We're excited about this mission and thank you for your support.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
I would just mention, I met with Spring Perry about this a few months ago and suggested that you all get in touch with the South Texas Children's Ministry. They do a number of programs in advocacy and counseling. They have a faith and finances and faith and work course. And I think that might help the clients that you're going to serve. So
we're actually going on a tour with them Wednesday.
terrific.
Thank you.
That's good to hear.
Thank you.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you. All right. Item number 3, presentation by Ginger Easton Smith with the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension with an update on programs and recognizing master gardeners for their volunteer contributions. Good morning. Morning.
Ginger Easton Smith, the Ag and Natural Resource Agent and 4-H agent. I share 4-H agent with my coworker Megan for Texas A&M AgriLife Extension. So I just wanted to tell you about 3 programs today. The first, now I see why Stephanie couldn't make this work. Where do I point this? There, I did it. Okay. So we have 2 4-H clubs in the county. We've got 105 members, plus 13 Clover kids who are K through second grade. They're usually siblings of regular 4-H members, but sometimes they just, they just want to join, don't have older siblings in the program. And we've got 16 adult volunteers. And we really appreciate our adult volunteers and thank them for the many things that they do. They're club managers. They lead our projects, they're a livestock mentor. They do all kinds of things for us, for the kids. So this was our big event of the year so far, participation in the San Patricio and Aransas Counties Agriculture and Homemaker Show, the A&H show, which we consider our county show, with Sam Pat. It was the last week of January. And we had 38 kids that entered the livestock division. And additional kids that entered homemaking, which covers all kinds of things. And of course, some of the kids entered both divisions. Excuse me. And then we had one that entered ag mechanics this year. And of those 38 that showed livestock, 32 of them made it to auction with their livestock project. So yeah, we thought that was wonderful. And they made $77,599 plus add-ons. And we appreciate all the community members who support our kids. So that we showed every species except lambs. And I'll show you some pictures, but I just wanted to mention, we've got many other projects besides livestock in the county. We've got archery, which is very popular, and our kids have done very well in meets. Shooting sports, kayaking, dog training, photography, public speaking, consumer decision-making, food and nutrition, sewing, and more. But here's some pictures starting off. Even though the show starts that last week of January, there's a few events that are early. We had 2 girls, sisters that did the pen of 2 heifers. And one of those girls also entered the horse show, did very well. She got a buckle, as a matter of fact. And then we had 1 entry in the Queen's contest. We had 4 kids actually that got a grand champion. We had, let's see. Okay. I deleted that off my program. We have the girl with the horse. She got grand champion mare. We had a grand champion turkey, grand champion broiler, and grand champion pen of 3 rabbits. So we did really well. This is at the poultry show. So our kids show roasters, broilers, and turkeys. And I got to say that Aransas County dominates the poultry show. We're a small part of the entrance, but we really do well. And we had a reserve champion roaster. We had turkey hen, turkey tom. Did really well. We're very proud of them. There's the 4 grand champions with their buckles and banners, and also the reserve grand champion turkey, the boy on the right with the turkeys. Looking happy. We also have a lot of kids that participate in the rabbit show. The girl on the left won showmanship, which I'm particularly proud of them when they win showmanship, because it shows their knowledge, their skill in showing the animal. And they're not being judged on their animal's attributes, they're being judged on their knowledge. So we had one that won senior showmanship in rabbits, junior showmanship. The girl on the right in the red shirt, she won junior showmanship in rabbits in her first year out. Intermediate showmanship in poultry, intermediate showmanship in horse, and junior showmanship in goats. And those divisions are age divisions. So that was awesome. Also, one girl showed a hog. This was her first career. We also had a girl with heifers, partial heifers, and a girl with a steer. And those 2 girls got breed championship steer, reserve breed champion steer American and reserve breed champion heifer in the American division. Goats is second to poultry probably for participation. We had 19 goats, 14 kids showing them. And then ag mechanics, this one entry, he also won a grand champion. That's his table on the left with which they have a chance to sell at silent auction and his sold. And then those are all the prizes he won there on the right. And with his banner. Yeah, he won like an overall championship, but he also won in his division and super exciting year. We also had 6 kids that went to major shows. 5 of them went to Austin, San Antonio, and Houston. Those 5 showed turkeys, and then we had one girl that went to San Antonio with her steer. Sorry, she went to Houston with her steer. And these 3 kids actually made it to the auction with their turkeys in Houston. So you can see how proud and happy they are. That's a pretty big accomplishment. You know, there's a lot of birds at that show. And we just had a showcase where we displayed some of the homemaking items and the ribbons and things and buckles that the kids won. And then we had that during the day, and then we had a dinner at night to celebrate. Okay, so moving on to the Healthy Aransas Community Garden. This is our 8th year, which means 16th season. We have 2 series of 5 classes each in the spring and the fall. And currently we've got 32 gardeners. Excuse me, it's definitely allergy season. Gardening 54 plots. And that, of course, is on county land, and we appreciate that the use of that land also. And right now they are, because of stage 3 water restrictions, they are not using the irrigation, but they are hand watering their vegetables because that is allowed, and praying for more rain. So this is on planting day. The family of 4 did this plot. They've done it for several years. They're also 4-H, a 4-H family. As a matter of fact, that boy in the black hoodie, the taller one, he's the one who did that so great in ag mechanics. So planting day is always an exciting day. And if you don't know, this garden is at the corner of Ann and Mimosa Streets. And we're always looking or accepting new people, but you have to go to the class to get a plot.
Question,
Yes.
what do you do with produce?
The produce, well, each plot is, sort of owned by a person and so they can eat it, share it, take it to the food bank or Good Samaritans. They can do anything but sell it. There's a lot of sharing that goes on. There's a lot of really community that has developed amongst them. It's really nice. And then the Master Gardener Program, we have 88 certified Master Gardeners. 81 certified Master Gardeners, 18 interns in our 2024 class. 16 of them graduated, and we have a total of 97 Master Gardeners. They are trained educators. That is what they do, is education. They do public programs, lots of different public programs, but they also help us with 4-H when we have our Explore Days, and several of them have taught programs for the community garden or just helped with the crazy plant distribution. This is the Master Gardener training series that I put on every year. It's August through November, 16 weekly classes, 56 hours. And the classes are taught by either me, other agents, AgriLife specialists, which may be from College Station or elsewhere, and Master Gardeners. So it's a pretty intensive community work. This is our 2024 graduation class. or graduation ceremony. Not everybody made it, but after they graduate, so they have to take the class, they have to pass a test. And then to be certified, they have to do 50 volunteer hours, either at the garden or doing educational programs or working at our help desk. And then each successive year after they certify, and they just need 20 volunteer hours and 10 continuing education hours. I can't see the top. Can you see it? Owen? Oh, I think it was our brown bags in 2024. Oh, thank you. Doesn't need to go up one. I'm trying, but it's not going. There we go. Okay, so our brown bags are Master Gardeners provide those every month except December. And we had a total of 538 people that attended this in 2024. All kinds of topics: beneficial insects, composting with worms, vegetable gardening, water issues, going native in your landscape, nature apps. And then we also have a symposium in the fall called Natives Root Our Community. It was a 5-hour program with various speakers. We had 77 participants. The Master Gardeners also put on 2 hands-on workshops with a total of 51 participants. They do educational programs in the garden, at the extension office. We get calls frequently from garden clubs or community groups that want them to come do an educational program. They've had tables at Fulton Night Out and at the Downtown Farmers Market. They're out there in the community providing education all over the place. And they plant and maintain the demonstration gardens at the extension office. You really should come out and check them out when you're available. They're open to the public Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. And they give scholarships every year. So in 2024, they provided 4 scholarships of $1,500 each to graduating seniors. The spring plant sale this year, we had 418 adults and children that attended. There's always an Ask the Master Gardener table because Master Gardeners are all about education. Although they also like to have fun. This year, we really focused on education. We did not sell as many plants because of the water restrictions, but we had bigger education tables with demonstrations and displays about rainwater harvesting, how to make a rain barrel, using Oyas in the garden, practices to conserve water, things like that. And we have had a school visit every year to our gardens. Master Gardeners took the youth out on a tour of the gardens, and they collected seed capsules last year to make butterflies and to learn about pollinators. And that bright blue thing on the bottom, that's the painted capsule that they made. Just had this workshop yesterday or Saturday, making the most of water in your garden. And we had education on what the water restrictions are, practices to conserve water, how to make and use an Oya, and water wicking containers, which they did like a make and take home of that, and how to make a rain barrel. And we didn't provide the barrels, but we provided all the fittings that they needed. All they have to get is a plastic trash can, and they're ready to go. Just more pictures of that. So I wanted to recognize them. It says National Volunteer Week, which was last week, but we didn't have court last week, so we're having it today. And so I really want to thank the Master Gardeners for everything they do. For extension, for the county, they enable us to reach way more people than I could reach by myself. And in 2024, they volunteered 5,039 hours at a value to the county of $175,000. And they logged over 1,000 hours of continuing education. So that, you know, improving their knowledge and making them more valuable to the county and to Extension. So I've got a number of them here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you stand, Master Gardeners?
Do you want to do a photo?
I wanted to bring them up here, but
Come on up.
you can stay crowded. Okay, come on up, come on up.
Don't knock it over.
Don't knock it over.
Hello, how are you? It's good to see you. How are you?
Just come on.
We have our president, Sharon Sperling, right here.
Hey.
It's gonna be hard for everybody to.
Take the photo.
Now you should be.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay, we'll snap a couple pictures in 3, 2, 1. One more.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ginger. Item number 4. Oh, you have something?
All right.
You have a motion for item number 4?
I move to approve the April 21st, 2025 presentation of Pearl Point Rockport. Second. Phase 1 LLC is acquired by chapter 381 Economic Development Agreement to authorize payment of $25,271.88 for the rebate of the 2024 taxes paid on January 2025. Second.
Got a motion and a second. Morning, it's good to see you.
Yes.
You're Mr. Davis?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
My name is John Davis and I'm a representative of the owner of Greater Pearl Point Phase 1 apartments. Per the 381, chapter 381 Economic Development Agreement, a yearly report is to be made and presented to you all. Tax statement check. So I'm just gonna start from page 1 and work our way through. It's just about 2.5 pages. On October 29th, 2018, Aransas County, Texas, and Rockport Harvey Housing LLC entered into a chapter 381 economic development agreement supporting the previous owner's construction of market rate apartments on 28.157 acres of property in the city of Rockport, with the street address of 2222-2498 FM 2165. On July 15th, 2022, Rockport Harvey Housing LLC sold phase 1 of the property to Pearl Point Rockport 1 LLC. Phase 1 was purchased for $43.2 million and no improvements have been made since the property.
Say again what it was purchased for.
43.2 million.
Thank you.
Agreement has been assigned to owner. The agreement was amended and filed as official record on July 13th, 2022. The previous owner's annual report to county dated February 2, 2021 confirmed the phase 1 was completed February 2020. Part of the agreement requires the owner's annual report to provide the following. Number 1, it's compliance with the agreement, and as the representative of the owner, I hereby certify to county that it is in compliance with all terms, conditions, and provisions set forth in the agreement. Number 2 is the compliance with construction, which the previous owner commenced construction November 11, 2019, which was within the 60 days after the effective date as required by the agreement. Number 3 is the amount of apartments, and there is a 216 units that was built in 0.4 per building, located, yeah, and completed within the 36 months required. Capital investment, the owner has invested 42.2 million into Pearl Point per the purchase price is what we paid for it. Phase one, the previous owner certified that it invested 30,807,345 in phase one, significantly exceeding the $20 million required by the agreement for this phase. In compliance with section 3C of the agreement, this amount does not include land acquisition costs, sanitary sewer, public infrastructure, and any improvements existing on the property prior to the city council's authorization execution of the chapter 381 agreement. The table there shows the per year capital amount required and invested exceeding the 35 million required. Number 4 is the payment of all of ad valorem taxes, and the owner certifies that all ad valorem taxes have been timely paid in the amount of $219,260.74. The owner certifies that it's complied with all county ordinances, and the report following completion of construction, when individual units are leased to the public, the agreement requires the owner to give preference and priority to local manufacturers, suppliers, contractors, and labor, except where not reasonably possible to do so at comparable terms or would result in substantial inconvenience or sacrifice in operating efficiency. With construction complete, all such contracts are in the name of Reef Holdings, a major national company that provides substantial number of required services through its in-house capabilities or through its extensive buying power. As a result, the small number of service contracts needed to operate phase one have been awarded to regional or national companies, where it would not be possible to do so with local companies at comparable terms. The exception to this is the Rockport-based alarm monitoring and cleaning companies that were awarded contracts. And we also have a higher local, 5 employees currently work at Pearl Point, and they are all residents of Aransas County. And, owner is prepared to share financial details of our buy local efforts at a confidential basis. We're pleased to provide photos of the project following pages.
It appears from page 1 or the preceding page to your annual report, which I received 2 copies. I received a reduced copy and then a large copy with a number of colored photos, which I think you've seen those pictures in previous years, and so you might not need to show those. But at any rate, it shows that in 2023, improvement for non-home site values was 17,000. Appraised value 17,604,000. 17 million, sorry, you're right. $17,604,770, and yet in 2024 it went down apparently by 5 million to 12,906,960.
Yes, ma'am. That's the county appraiser appraised the property at that value.
Right, I understand. So I just wanted to point out that the appraisal district reduced the amount by $5 million from 2023 to 2024.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, we're.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right, any other questions?
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Item number 5.
I move to approve the April 1st, 2025 presentation for Pearl Point Rockport Phase 2 LLC as required by the chapter 381 economic development agreement and authorized payment of $27,535.08 for rebate for 2024 taxes paid January 2025.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. I don't see Mark here. Anybody from Mark's office?
I have one unidentified person named LC online. I don't know who that is. That's.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So Since he's not here to present, I'd like to table this motion.
Make a motion, and, first motion to table this.
Perfect.
That.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Castelline. Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
Judge Does.
Aye. Vote, item 5 is tabled. All right, this time we'll vote on the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Got a motion and a second.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Castelline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo. Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
Judge Does.
Aye. Motion passes. Item number 7.
Please appoint the girls. State Cyber as the Vance County floodplain administrator.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Good morning, Darrell.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. Traditionally, the county engineer has been the floodplain administrator for the county. Back in January, when David Reed retired, he was the acting floodplain administrator at the time. I did not have my certification of a floodplain manager. And so at that point, commissioners, they approved Pat Como as the floodplain administrator for the county. Since then, I've passed my examination and now floodplain manager. And so I'd like to assume that role now as the administrator, as we've done traditionally. But one thing I definitely want to highlight is that on the road and bridge staff, we have 3 other certified floodplain managers. Kat Como, Megan Setterbo, and just recently David Morgan.
We did.
That's great. So that places us in a great position and something we should be very proud of.
This was, if I remember correctly, this was the only council that we had in area 20 that you were
Yes.
certified, so you completed that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, appreciate it, Darrell.
I guess we'll.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Castelline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Judge Does.
Aye, motion passes. Item number 8.
Move to approve the Rockport Center for the Art report first quarter of 2025.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Good morning, Karen.
Judge, good morning, Commissioners. All right. See if everybody has a printout in front of them, which will be a little larger than this. Am I getting the right button? Ah, there we go. Okay, just a few graphics to support some of the activities, and then we'll look at the details of the statistics. This is the cover of our quarterly newsletter featuring artwork by Billy Hassel, which was the major feature exhibit of this last year. Very popular Texas wildlife artist, very bright color palette, as you can see. Here's a picture of some of the 4 major exhibits that we had this past quarter. The Nancy Bandy, she's an artist out of Victoria, Texas. Billy Hassel, who's out of the Dallas area. Glass artist Eric Japan on the bottom left out of Houston. And then in March and April, we hosted the annual Rising Artists of Texas. This is a statewide collegiate exhibition featuring juried artwork by college students from across the state of Texas. So you can see a wide distribution of representation of artists from all across the state. It's another image from Billy Hassel's exhibition. We also have a very vibrant music series. We're into our 3rd season. In January, we had a Latin rock band, Del Castillo. In February, we had the Texas Trio. And in March, we had a jazz artist, Doc Watkins out of San Antonio. It's been really an up and coming series. We're starting to see sellout shows almost every concert. So that's been very exciting. Here you can also see just a snapshot of some of the major workshops we hosted during the past quarter. This fall, we have Kimmy Rose returning. She's doing a concert and she's also going to do a culinary arts class. So it'll be a weekend with Kimmy Rose.
When do dates for that commencement?
Probably in June.
All right, thanks. We hosted a contemporary art collection, both in person and online, of Louise Perron's exhibit. Funds for this are going to help build the endowment to support the arts. We also installed Greg Reuter's sculpture. You can see it on the right-hand side in the middle of the mural sculpture. That is now installed in the courtyard of the Art Center Espinazo. There's just the visual highlights. Now we'll look at some of the numbers. This will be a little easier to see in your print presentation. So we have both data and non-data attendance. We try our very best to track all of the visitors coming into the Art Center at the gift shop, or if they're participating through ticket sales or classes, we have data. But we also have opening receptions and other activities where we don't capture zip codes. So we have data and non-data statistics. So for the first quarter, just counting Art Center activity, we had 8,834 participants in all of that programming. If you look to the very bottom, we've added activities for the Rock. That brings that quarterly total to 9,658 persons participating in activities throughout the quarter. Just above that in purple, we've provided the heads and beds data. This is captured at the point of sale when, at the lobby when visitors come in to see exhibitions. We ask them, are you staying in overnight lodging facilities? How many nights are you staying? So this data is coming from the customers, reported by the customers in the gift shop. So during the first quarter, we had 15,231 heads and beds, 1,027 people. What this looks like on the map on the next page, you can see most of the states of the union are represented and a large section of Texas as well. We also have representation from Canada, from Mexico, and from Europe. The next slide, this focuses just on that gift shop exhibition data. This is where the highest tourism data is coming from for the center. You can see just for that front door, we had 3,936 visitors. In the blue section, how that breaks down, 57% of January attendance was from outside 75 miles, 67% in February, and 76% in March. So that spring break season, really bringing in a lot of visitors from beyond 75 miles. Again, down to the bottom in purple, this is also where a lot of that heads and beds data is coming from. 15,062 heads and beds, 880 people. The next page, I pulled the music, oops, I think I went one too far. I pulled the music series data because this is really starting to draw attendance from outside of 75 miles. So we've had 697 participants in the first quarter, 3 concerts. If you look at the second section in blue, in January, 14% was from greater than 75 miles, 20% in February, and 25% in March. So we're seeing a trend of bringing in more visitation for those concerts. The next slide is our e-commerce data. These are transactions through our website. 765 unique transactions, almost $60,000 in transactions on there. You can see the national as well as the Texas distribution of that transaction activity. The next slide shows you kind of a breakdown of what those are happening around. Adult education, the concert series, and membership are where most of the funds are being spent. The next page shows our website traffic. We had 46,078 visits from the United States. Total visits, 50,429. There is a gradient here, but it doesn't translate the best, but obviously the United States being our top traffic region. This is some new data on the next page I thought was interesting to look at. Out of all of that website traffic, Texas is the top visited state, 21,490. There's unknown, so these are people who have their web credentials that we can identify which state they're coming from. Virginia was the second highest, 3,525. California, Washington, and Iowa were our top 5 states of website traffic. I thought that was interesting data. Is this geocaching? This is coming from the website Insight Statistics from Squarespace. The next page also, this is a graphic representation of just zooming in on the state of Texas. You can see the dark gray dots. This is where more concentrated traffic is coming from. So Houston, San Antonio, followed by Austin and Dallas, once you get outside of the coastal belt. The next page breaks down the Texas traffic on the website. The local area, Rockport, Corpus being our top 2, followed by Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, and then again, others, and Austin. So we're seeing activity from the areas where we've been investing advertising dollars, those major metro areas. These figures on the next page are all coming from the social media. We were just looking at the website data. This is social media data. All of our numbers are up for the past quarter. So what we are seeing is an increase, we believe, from our pivot to our new marketing practice, our new marketing buyer. We're putting a lot more into digital ads and Google ads, pay-per-click ads, and it seems to be paying off with increased traffic on our social media. And the last slide here is just a summary of the expenditures. We received $5,946.55. We expended $5,902 for a variance of $44.55. And at the bottom there is the distribution of how those funds were spent on video capture, press release activity, and media buy, and some branding activity. The rest of the presentation appendices are just some of the reports that are coming back on those social media placement. So I won't go through those page by page, but you have those for reference. And that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline. Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
Judge Smith.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Karen. Yeah,
Yes, on May 6th at 5:30 p.m. is our annual general meeting and also going away party for the week. So please join us at the Rock on Tuesday, May 6th.
perfect.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, Luis. Item number 9.
I move to approve the Texas Maritime Museum's report for the first quarter of 2025.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Oh, how are you? Morning.
Actually, I'm the CFO at the Texas Maritime Museum. Just gonna do a quick overview of this report for you guys.
Ashley, how do you say last name?
Papriza.
Yeah, just.
Oh, yeah, exactly how it looks. Right, let's dive right in here. So our overall gross attendance with all events for the quarter, and I'm gonna look at my paper because that is very small. We showed 4,975 visitors at the museum and at all events hosted. Pretty consistent numbers for us this year. We're over 1,000 every month, with March being our highest with almost 2,000. So we're very pleased with those numbers. We're continuing to see growth there. Of our registered visitors at the museum, 2,966 in the quarter stated they came from a 75 miles out or more, with March being the highest on that as well. So March was a good month for us with spring break traffic.
In your lecture series.
And the lecture series, that's always a big hit, brings it a lot. You can see on the attendance comparison, we're continuing to see steady growth. With 880 more visitors for the first quarter this year than we saw in the first quarter of 2025. All through last year, we saw consistent growth each month. So we're hoping that is the trend this year as well. It's a little early for annual numbers, but you'll see we had 16,735 in 2024. If we continue with similar numbers for the last 3 quarters, we should show record numbers this year as well. We continue to see growth every year for the last several years coming out of COVID, of course. So
we're hoping that trend is going to continue this year, and so far it looks like it will. And on our registered visitors, just break down the major metro areas in Texas and where those numbers are coming from. We hold pretty steady in that 11 to 12% with local visitors, with the majority coming from elsewhere. 65% of the first quarter were in the other category, which is other areas in Texas as well as out of state, which is not surprising. We see a lot of former Texans this time of year, so that's where a lot of that number is coming from. For hotel motel stays, a little over half either stated they did not stay or they chose not to answer. We do give them that option. But other than that, you'll see our highest number was 21% that stated they stayed for 4 or more nights. So we are having long-term visitors that are coming by the museum, which is good to see. The brief summary of our expenditures for the quarter. See, the majority of it fell into that curatorial number for historical preservation and conservation. We've got a lot of change happening, new exhibits coming in, including our new temporary exhibit that just opened last week, which is an expansion of our Texas Navy exhibit. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you buy it. It's a cool exhibit. They've got parts of the Zavala boiler finally out on display, with plans to get the full piece out soon. I'm taking a look at our social media numbers. The line graph doesn't look impressive, but we do continue to see pretty consistent growth with followers. We're up about 10% with our followers on Facebook for the quarter, which brings us to not quite 22,000 followers on Facebook, and then about 1,200 on Instagram. Our impressions are up this quarter, though, with a little over 1 million. You'll see that spike in early February. That was with our post going out regarding our headliner for WineFest this year, which drew a lot of attentions. Posts, we hold pretty steady in the number of posts going out on our Facebook. You'll see Instagram did go up significantly. They guys do a lot more advertising on Instagram. So we're seeing some posts and some impressions coming through on there and growing that a bit. Our top post, you'll see that #1 post at the top is our announcement that Neil McCoy will be our headliner this year at WineFest. A lot of positive feedback from that. People are very excited. If you do not have tickets yet, you can get those online. I suggest grabbing those because it is generating a lot of interest, a lot of ticket sales. So we're excited for that. And also website traffic, that went up as well for the quarter with over 16,000 views from 9,500 visits from 8,900 visitors. We do always see an increase in that number as we go through WineFest because most of our ticket sales for that and for our patron party go through our website. So, of course, the majority of our visitors are in the US, with 72% for the quarter. In Texas, we do see website visitors from a variety of other states, especially this time of year with winter Texans.
I'm surprised at the number from China.
I know, we're not entirely sure what that's about, but something is drawing them to that side.
Yeah.
They're shocking.
Been just a glimpse at some events and happenings at the museum for the quarter. We had our 28th annual Mahjong tournament fundraiser in January. They host that at the Rockport Country Club. They had about 130 registered players. They come from all over the state of Texas, a handful that come from out of state for that as well. And they always do a great job for us and raise funds for the museum. We're very thankful for the group of volunteer ladies who put that together for us every year. Then the education department did a knot tying event with the Coast Guard Auxiliary. That was well attended and a lot of fun. Our lecture series kicked off in January. It runs January through March. Had great attendance this year on that. February was the Valentine Craft Day, more of the lecture series. Then the Odyssey after school field trips began. Those usually run through the early spring months as they lead up to the end of the school year. Then March saw the wrap up of our lecture series and spring break maritime camp, which is always a hit. They do everything from kayaking to the giant off-school course and all sorts of hands-on activities and learning and crafts. So camps are always a huge hit. They usually sell out So we've got tickets that just went on sale for the summer camps. So do keep that in mind. If you've got kiddos in your family that are looking for something to do over the summer. That is, what's we have?
All right, appreciate you. Thank you, Ann.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
Judge Gus.
Hi. Before we move on, we're gonna take a 5-minute break. All right. Thank you. All right. So 10:08, we're back in session. Item number 10.
Move to approve the request to relocate 10-foot wide drainage easement on replat combined 44 and 153 Front Street. Legal description, lot 44, Neptune Harbor addition, and lot 153, Neptune Harbor addition. Phase 2 replatted as lot 45-R, Neptune Harbor addition.
Second.
Got a motion and second. Good morning, Ms. Katz.
Morning. I apologize for not catching the error on the agenda memo. It has a spot where it incorrectly says lot 45 instead of lot 44. I apologize for that. This is just the only reason this one comes before y'all today is because of the drainage easement. The owner is wishing to expand across that middle lot line, and so moving that drainage easement 70 feet down to where water is already draining. The county engineer went out and looked at it and issued his approval, and so now it just comes before y'all for a formal abandonment and rededication, about 70 feet down the road.
Where's this located?
It is out in Lamar, on the corner of Magnolia and Front Street.
All right. Any questions?
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dukenyak.
Aye.
Judge Benson.
Aye, motion passes. Item number 11.
Move to approve request for a variance on county minimum lot size requirements to replat 624 North First Street from 4 lots into 2. Legal descriptions, lot 9, 10, 11, and 12, block 141, Smith and Wood divisions, replat as lot 9R and lot 12R, block 141, Smith and Woods division.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and second.
And then you gave us a revised,
Yes, ma'am.
but I don't see where.
It was and I apologize, my Microsoft Word software kept closing out whenever I was trying to format, because Microsoft Word formatting is the devil. But even after our wonderful IT folks got me up and running, I neglected to notice that I did not, it should read that it has public sewer instead of on septic.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's where you made the change. All right,
So
thank you.
it's on septic.
It's on public sewer, not septic.
Oh, sure.
Yes, sir.
So the lot size is not a matter of concern.
Correct.
Thank you.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo. Commissioner Dukenyak.
Aye.
Judge Benson.
Aye, motion passes. Item number 12.
Move to approve authorizing county judge to sign the housing and urban development most impacted and distressed community development block grant mitigation general land office contract number 24-065-128-E 986 in the amount of $10,291,500. The approved projects consist of radio tower communication infrastructure for the sheriff's office, master drainage plan for Aransas County, countywide, the Lamar Drainage Project, and the town of Fulton street improvements for Broadway, Cactus, Chaparral, Mesquite, Myrtle, and Palmetto Streets.
Second.
Got a motion and second. Miss Jackie.
This is it action will allow the judge to sign the contract. This is what we fondly call the mid-mod grant. So this will formally allow us to start reading the bureau contract.
And it's been a long time.
Yes, it has. It's been over 2 years.
And some of this goes to Fulton, correct?
Yes, and
Okay.
it's approximately 2 million, a little over $2 million that goes to Fulton. The balance of it will be county projects.
Okay.
Okay, just one question on the contract under section 3 reporting requirements. Where quarterly reports are required, does your office prepare those and send them in?
No, Grant Works will be doing that.
Grant
Grant Works is our grant manager for this, and they will actually be carrying all of those.
Thank you.
Commissioner.
I don't sign this one. I sign the DocuSign,
You'll
right?
do this box.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
and Judge Spencer.
Aye, motion passes. Item number 13.
I move to approve hiring resolution R dash 9 2025 for grant works, for grant writing and grant administration for the future of the Aransas County capital project.
I'll second that.
We've got a motion and a second.
When, last meeting, commissioners approved grant works for grant administration, grant work writing. And we failed to include a hybrid resolution. A lot of the grants require this, so we're just coming back now and cleaning up and getting that resolution done.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo, Commissioner Dupnick, Judge Spencer.
Aye, motion passes. Item number 14.
To approve authorizing the Aransas County Sheriff Bill Mills, Chief Deputy. Okay. Move to approve hiring resolution R 10/2025 for the pool engineering services for Aransas County capital project.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second.
I just said one little question on that. In just reading the agenda, it looks like we're doing it for a pool. I mean, I understand what that means, but is there, can we reword that a little bit? Because I don't think we're building a pool already.
No, it's a pool. It's a pool of it. Oh, okay. Oh,
It is added on to the conversation, I wouldn't know.
Not sure how we would reword it other than
Yeah.
just, you know, it's a group of engineers.
I just, you know, I look at these things, you know, from.
Yeah.
You know, the outside looking in, and, you know, because I'm gonna get a phone call, it's like, why are y'all gonna build a pool?
Which is some non-aquatic.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
so we're not building a pool.
Non-aquatic.
All right. Y'all got any questions about this?
The thing, it's, we failed to do that, hiring resolution. And so we were doing that to just make everything clean and move forward.
And what this means, since I wasn't at the last commissioners court meeting, is that if we have a civil engineering project come up, we may choose from any of those that are in the selection. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. If
Sounds
you would indulge me, I'd kind of like to go over the choosing of an engineer, how we've done it traditionally prior to this grouping. And then how it will relate to this grouping. So previously,
Don't you?
thank you. Well, previously, what we would do is the county, the staff would bring to commissioners court to request for the procurement specialist to put out an RFQ for engineering services. You would either approve or disapprove it. Then about 6 weeks later, we would receive RFQs back from the engineers that were interested in the project. And the procurement specialist would set up a team to score those submittals. Sometimes there may be additional presentations that the highest scores, we may narrow them down to 2 or 3, and then they'd come in and do additional presentations in order to make the final choice. And then we would bring it back to Commissioners Court for approval to, as we recommend, this engineer. With the general engineering pool, basically, we've already done the RFQ, the initial RFQ step of gathering up the engineers. So we moved forward with the scoring through the procurement specialist like we had before. So the first time you may see something is from staff is requesting the award of a project to the commissioner's court. Yes.
How often are we going to refresh that rule?
So right now, we have it set up on a yearly basis. This is good until the end of this year with the ability to have 4 one-year renewals thereafter.
We have quite a large pool. I mean, we've got, I think there was like 15 engineers and we have them ranked by their specialties and what they actually.
So are we gonna renew the pool every time, or are we gonna like take 3 this year, 3 next year?
I think
I might actually recommend, because this is our first go around, that maybe we revisit it at the end of this year, to speak to some other engineering companies. There's quite a few in Corpus that did not submit. And also, we can tighten up how we want the engineers to kind of basically check off what they want to be considered for. Because if they didn't check off what they wanted to be considered for, but they provided information on other projects that they do have specialties in, we can't consider them because they did not check those off. So we'll have a pre-bid with these engineers, and that's what I would recommend at this point at the end of the year.
You have more experience in it than we do, so I would take your recommendations on it.
I think it's a good idea, I really do. But along the same line, I don't know, get stuck with that's our engineer, we don't ever change.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, and with this, it's not like what we were, where we were with the same engineer for all of these projects, because we do have
Right.
a large group of engineers.
That's one of the reasons I really like this idea is because, you know, we got really right in the middle of some really important stuff and the engineer went away. And, you know, and that happens from time to time, you know, through just attrition and you know, all kinds of things. I don't want to get the project again. We're halfway in the middle of some issues, then having engineers in Arkansas now. Or wherever.
Hopefully this will eliminate a lot of those.
Thank you, Darren.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo. Commissioner Duke. Judge Benson.
Aye, motion passes.
One more question on that. Who's going to the, is it gonna be the procurement specialist that's gonna say, okay, we need to look at this, or is it gonna be the county engineer?
It would be the county engineer
Yes,
would
sir.
initiate,
But
and
you'll
then
be
it would be whoever the department that's asking for something.
Do we vote again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Item number 15.
Move to approve authorizing Aransas County Sheriff Bill Mills, Chief Deputy Michael Brooks, and interdiction officer Stephen Nanny to sign the license plate reader use agreement between Aransas County and the Texas Department of Public Safety, establishing permission and guidelines in order to gain access to the Texas Automated License Plate Reader Database.
I'll second that.
Got a motion second. Good morning, Sheriff.
This is a housekeeping issue, I think, really more than anything else. Over the years, we've acquired LPR readers under different formats. We had applied through Operation Lone Star to have an LPR reader placed on the unit that we bought. DPS held the release up to get the funding release for the LPR reader because we had 3 accounts. They showed 3 different accounts. We thought we were only one county. Found out they based the accounts on how you acquire the readers. We had gotten readers through Stone Garden and through the Hyder Group and now through Operation Lone Star. So now we had 3 different sources that we had required readers through, and you couldn't have a point of contact representing all 3 of those. So we're having to break it up and put Michael Brooks on one, my name on a separate one, and Stephen Nanny will sign the 3rd agreement to straighten out the records with DPS and Austin, which will then free up the funding for that unit problem also.
Sounds good. Thank you, Sheriff.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo. Commissioner Duke.
Aye.
Judge Benson.
Aye, motion passes. Item number 16.
I move to approve awarding the inmate medical provider for Aransas County Detention Center. Is that Marky?
I think it's Marky.
Marky Vienna, with the initial term through December 31st, 2025, for 4 one-year optional renewals with the approval of Aransas County Commission Court, and authorize the county judge to execute necessary documents.
Second that.
Got a motion and a second.
This is a continuation of when Dr. Bam died in a car crash. We've been trying to procure the service of somebody to oversee the medical within the facility, so we don't have to take inmates out to doctor's offices in Aransas Pass and around the community. We received 2 replies to the RFQ that we have sent out. I think you have in your packet attached score sheets. Commissioner Russo, Treasurer Al Scarlight, and myself scored these 3, and this was across the board consensus that we all came to.
Sounds good.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo, Commissioner Dukenyak,
Aye.
Judge Gustafson.
Aye. Motion passes. Item number 17.
I move to approve hiring resolution R-11 2025 for Marpay by Emma as the inmate medical services provider at Perez County Detention Center.
Second.
Got a motion, a second. Same, any further questions? All right.
Commissioner Cheney, Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo, Commissioner Dukenyak,
Aye.
Judge Gustafson.
Aye, motion passes. Item number 18.
Policy establishing a fee for retired officer to purchase firearm for local government code section 614. 051.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second.
It kind of brought y'all a wide open deal, that retirement of an officer that had served here over 15 years. Some of y'all attended his party that afternoon, and his wife had called after he submitted retirement and asked if he could purchase his mobile shotgun. I didn't know at the time, but I got to look and I found out the Texas government code does allow that under 614.015.051. With the provision that it cannot exceed, it can't be a prohibited weapon. It has to be a weapon that was issued to him by the agency. And he can only purchase one within a 2-year period of his retirement or death if the family's going to purchase in that regard. And it cannot exceed fair market value. Retiree met all these qualifications, went online trying to establish the value. This was an old Remington 870 shotgun with a barrel that measured 18¼ inches. So it wasn't prohibitive. The new ones we buy now would be a prohibited weapon because they're less than 18 inches long. The one he had and carried met the requirements where it could be purchased. There is actually a site online for Blue Book on used weapons. When I inquired about the value of that weapon, it replied that there's not enough trade and sale in that type of a weapon to establish a market value, because not a lot of people want an 18¼ inch shotgun. And I did show it to a gentleman who owned a gun shop in Fulton previously, and he did the engraving on it for me as well. But he said if this had come to their gun shop, he would have placed the value at $150 because of the condition of the stock. And it's probably 20 or 25 years old. And we have heard of agencies that declare the weapon surplus and give it to the officer, but I understand there's an asset value attached to that. Some do it for a $50 flat deal. Some weapons, and I'm reluctant to set a fee because 5 years from now, I don't know what that weapon might be. Now, the Glocks that we carry as sidearms, you can go online and it'll tell you month to month as the price goes up and down on this weapon. It was $316 one week and went to $324 last month, I think. So it's a pretty accurate way to gauge it online. Now, whether you're wanting to go with that figure or some percent of that figure, I'm throwing it out for y'all to discuss. This is the first time in 16 years I was asked to deal with this. I don't know if it went a little occur again, but I just thought to put a policy in place and we could resolve that going forward. And whatever y'all decide to do with this recent retirees, you know, we will collect whatever that fee is going to be and get it to county treasurer. But want to get a policy put in place and ask y'all's pleasure in regard to that.
Well, with two estimates between 50 and 150, I was thinking maybe $100 would be reasonable. I mean, I certainly am in favor of allowing it since it's allowed by government code.
I didn't know it was until.
Well, it is a regular happening in state law enforcement. Especially when they change, even when they change weapons, they allow the officer to buy the weapon.
Yeah, from the dealer. The dealer is taking some out will offer back to the officer at whatever that value is, but this wouldn't be the case there. Yeah.
We don't want to just give it to him, so we just put a fee on it. I like $100.
That's all I was looking for.
I'm good with 100.
We need to vote over.
Yeah.
The policy.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dukenyak,
Aye.
Judge Gustafson.
Aye. Passes. Thank you, Sheriff. Item number 19.
About 18.
Um,
Oh, that was 18,
Okay.
sorry.
item number 19.
I move to approve authorizing county judge to sign an agreement with the Wood, Boykin, Walter Law Firm regarding the preparation of an airport ground list between Aransas County and Weldon and Ashley Beach.
I'll second that.
So this one, I should have at the beginning of the meeting. We've got more information. Mike and I, and this one probably should be tabled.
So moved.
We would change.
I think to change my notes.
Yes.
Table this
Yes.
agenda item.
Second to table?
Second.
All right.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Nay.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Dennison.
Aye. 4-1, motion passes. And before I forget, I need to strike number 25. We've got some changes in that as well. We'll move on to item number 20.
So the ones that are being we brought back.
Yes.
Correct.
Oh, yes.
I move
It's
to
stable.
approve the donation of 65 acres of land from Tom Gladstone to Aransas County for the Aransas County Pathways Program and authorize the county attorney's office to begin the property transfer process on behalf of the county.
I'll second that.
I'd like to,
Got a motion in a second.
Morning. Oh, we still have to vote.
I have a question. Have we ever researched if we can put something in the Pathways program without having an election? Have we researched, can we put something new in the Pathways program without having an election?
You mean an election by the residents?
Yeah, when Pathways and aquarium and stuff were created, we had an election with the things that were proposed listed on there, the detail of what was in it. Just curious if
Well, we've already added stuff, right? In the past, no?
I don't know.
Hmm.
What I would say is, A, I'll research it and find out. B, I wrote this agenda memo and hypothetically, the land would be donated first to Aransas County.
right,
And then the commissioner's court could decide if it actually goes to Pathways or if it is put to use for something else. And that, I met with Mr. McLastick, Friday. And when I was saying that out loud, I thought, oh, okay, yeah. So right now, and for today's purposes, this is actually, a way to let the commissioners court know that, Mr. McElastic is interested in donating property to the county. He is still in the purchasing, process of that. So this is more to put everybody on notice, but should give you time to research the question too, Commissioner.
Could vote to accept the potential donation of the land to the
Right.
county,
We still got to do the property transfer. So, I mean,
right? I mean, we probably want to do a survey or something.
Oh, yeah.
Property.
A lot of information is gonna be handled by the seller and Mr. McElastic when it comes to title, research, grantees, grantors. I know that this, I think this was actually for my first week of work when Mr. Cheney asked me about paper streets. And so this has been going on for a while. My understanding is that a neighborhood was platted either in the 1800s or early 1900s that was never built. And so the bulk of that neighborhood, if donated, would encompass, those 65 acres would encompass that property. So the fact that the streets and parks were donated to the county and never built would probably not be a problem since it was belong to the county after the transfer. But that even if it wasn't, the adjoining property owners, whether or not they would have a claim to the property would be settled, if you will. with the title search that would happen with the land transfer between the two parties. And we would be able to rely on that.
The land right now belongs to an individual.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, it's, so I don't see, I really just don't understand, but I don't see why a previous plan or anything like that would have anything to do with it. If it's owned by one particular person that wants to convey it to Tom. And then also, I don't know that we have to go to a vote to receive property. Now, to give it to
I'm saying to put it in the pathway.
yeah, well, I think put it,
We need to research that, because when we established it, it was basically a kind of an itemized list that showed what we're gonna do with it.
But we could still vote to accept property with the county.
Because he still has a close and then we have to transfer, but this is,
I just wanted to put the commissioners court on notice, and I don't want to proceed without your authorization to start looking into a potential land transfer.
Yeah.
Which, again, is why it's here. There is Mr. McLeod is gonna put this a larger portion. And is gonna donate 55 acres of that larger portion to the county, if the commissioners court were interested in such a donation.
We need to change this at this time to just, to accept it for Aransas County and not Pathways.
I would amend my motion to exclude for Aransas County Pathways Program, but that's the intent of what we're doing.
right.
I mean, that's all, that's on the table and publicly spoken, but I think right now the issue is whether or not we want to accept the land.
Something.
Down to you. Thanks, Tom.
Now you can sit down. You want to?
Well,
Did we get a second on the amendment? No, I didn't hear
Okay.
Did you have words, Tom?
I think y'all have answered all of them. I'm just here to offer that proposal.
Well, I want publicly say thank you very much. We've been out, driven that property. If you haven't been out, driven that property, get with the staff and drive it. I used to do quite a bit of electrical work in a particular, for a particular homeowner that overlooked at. And sometimes the birds and stuff in there are just phenomenal. I mean, and whenever the hawks are changing, and a lot of the seabirds are moving around. I mean, I've been real concerned about that since I became commissioner, that would be developed and that would go away. And this will allow it to stay for a long time. I'm not real big necessarily on us putting everything in for the reserve, for the young place to live. This is one area that's low. It's all in a floodplain. It's not suitable for building on without a lot of expense. And so I think this is a wonderful thing to do. And I want to thank Charles Rohr, who also is involved in this. He owns the property right now and working with Tom to work this out. I really appreciate those very involved.
Well, I appreciate the thanks, but I am getting something out of it. I do plan to build 10 homes along Fort St. Clair, which bounds this property. But it also, the rest of it.
But that's already that's an approved area for business.
Yes.
I'm talking about, you know, it's the only real piece of property other than Murph Park that we have access to from the water. And it's a large enough area that if Pathways decides or if they decide that they want to put a viewing thing out there, they can do it. I mean, it's a large enough piece of property. And it's really neat.
And the county does have access through some old indicated right of ways from 35.
And also has access from the water.
And well, you have to cross the doors.
Well, yeah, we've got to work on that.
Right. But it also, but potentially has access to Aransas Bay.
Nice.
So.
All right, well, we appreciate you. Thank you. We're excited. I know Pathways is excited.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Gutsa.
Aye, motion passes. Item number 21.
Move to approve authorizing the county attorney's office to begin contract negotiation, draft the lease agreement for the available office unit at Lago Plaza Shopping Center.
I'll take that.
Got a motion and a second.
What's the purpose for this?
So we may need more office space because Judge McGinnis, whenever the city moves into their new courthouse or city hall, she's going, I don't want to say being kicked out, but we need a place for our county workers to go to.
Are you sure? Because they have an office over there for her and for,
She can't take county employees.
Yeah, she can't take them.
say,
She can't take,
take county employees with to the city hall.
the employees that are strictly county, she cannot take them to the new city hall.
even though those offices were created for them?
No, they're created for the city municipal judge, which she is right now. Doesn't mean she'll always be.
I mean, if you want to table it, we could go, you could ask more questions, but
Well, it's just authorized to talk to them.
Right. this is just giving you authorization to start the process.
Yes, sir. I have already spoken to Mr. Engel. He called and very generously said, I know that there's this space available. I'd like to offer it to the county first, or it goes out on the formal market. And so this is a way of me presenting the commissioners board. I told him, I said, I don't have the authority to say yes or no, but I'll take it to the commissioners court to see what they would like to do about it. My original first thought was that the office that is currently in with the library, if that transferred the library to other conference room backs, it really doesn't matter what office goes in there. But to my knowledge, the building or the space is about 1,600 square feet. It's got a large open space and then it also has some spaces for offices. We could play this lots of different ways. We could go, I have not gone to walk it or look at it, but I know it's in the plaza that's on the same side of the street as the county attorney's office, the county auditor's office, and IT. So it's available and $1,400 a month.
I have a question. Right now, Judge McGinnis is over in a city facility, is she not?
She is,
Are her employees over there with her?
yes.
And so what is the difference between her and her employees being in the facility now versus being in the
I'm
city?
just going by what Judge McGinnis has expressed to me, that she's gonna need a space once the city hall opens. That they're not going to, city's not gonna allow the county workers to have office space there.
So the statement is the city is not going to allow
Right,
county employees to transition over there.
inside the city hall, yes, ma'am.
Have you visited with the city manager about this?
I have not. But I think Judge Dupin is happy at the library, actually. But she'll stay there. What about it?
Commissioner, go ahead.
This is entering into a contract, it's just, it's not signing the contract, it's moving forward with this.
Correct, and my next step would be to kind of take the same team that we use for moving and invite Renee Butler, Colin Jackson, El Morales, Judge Garza to go look at the space, see if it's suitable, see what it is the county would need. And then I would draft a lease agreement and then we could present it again at a different meeting because nothing's drafted right now.
And in the meantime, we get the clarification from the city's position.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Nay,
Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
Judge Gutsa.
Aye, motion passes 4-1. Item number 22.
Move to approve the March 2025 treasurer's report.
Second that motion.
We've got a motion and a second. Good morning. How are you?
Lisa Balser, Chief Deputy Treasurer, representing Alma Cartwright today. So, with the Aransas County Treasurer's Report. Hope we're all looking at the same thing here. Showing the bank depository for March 2025. Securities and total funds. So the bank depository is at 35% of the total funds. Securities are 64% of total funds. Our total funds are 29,865,13
All right, any questions?
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo. Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
Judge Dustin.
Aye, motion passes. Item number 23.
To approve the first quarter Aransas County Treasurer's investment report.
Got a motion and a second.
At the March 31st, 2025 investment report showing that all investments in the custody of the county treasurer at the time of this report are $29,865,015.13. If you have any questions on those, on the supporting documents, it'll show in January where we were at, total receipts for 2025, total disbursements, and our ending balance. That's next January. Through March, excuse me, January through March of 2025. I can go down through the numbers if you like me to. I think you all have probably read them, so there aren't any questions.
On page 1 of the attachments where it shows the performance of the investments. And they have the bar graph for interest earned. This one. We are pretty far behind on our interest. I know the market's been down, but if you take what we've earned in the first quarter and multiply that by 4, comes up with an anticipated of 608,000 versus last year, where it looks like we got about 825,000. So that's significant.
What are you looking at?
It looks like this. You have the bar graph, and if you look down here, where it shows what the first quarter's return, the interest was.
Got it.
And it was, I think, 181,000. So if you multiply that times four quarters, and it comes out to about 608,000 per year, which is almost $250,000 less than last year. You know, I know Alma can't do anything about it. She does a great job with our investments, but might be looking at reduced revenue.
On the upper portion of that same page, it talks about the budgeted project. The budgeted amount was 825,000, excuse me.
23.
825, yeah.
That's what she's hoping for, but yeah. I am too. I hope it happens.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
Judge Dustin.
Aye, motion passes. Item number 24.
Move to approve authorizing the county treasurer to sign a release of pledge collateral with Federal Home Loan Bank, regarding third securities pledged by Prosperity Bank, next time the funds held by Prosperity Bank by Aransas County.
A second.
Got a motion and a second.
We're wanting to reduce that by $10 million. They have overpledged considerably, and if you're looking at the third page of the documentation supporting it, it's showing that there's clearly enough collateral to cover the pledged balances, and there's an excess collateral of 12 million. So by reducing it 10 million, we're still covered.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterly,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Goddison.
Aye, motion passes. Struck number 25, item number 26.
Move to approve authorizing county judge to sign the county request for capital credits and submit to the Texas Comptroller Unclaimed Property Division. Further authorize county citizens to disperse any said funds received from the Texas Comptroller as follows: 50% through the Aransas County Library Funds, Library Literacy Program, and 50% to the Children's Coalition of Aransas County.
Second.
Got a motion and a second.
Let me know on that, I apologize, I took the clip out, now.
She did give us background
Yeah.
information on our agenda memo. She's.
Yes, I
Pretty-
apologize, I went through her notebook here, and I don't have that in front of me, I don't see it. If you have any questions on this, I'm sure that we can get answers for you rather quickly. I just don't have the presentation here.
You want to see this? Go to looking for.
Questions?
I don't think we have any questions. Yearly things.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterly,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo, Commissioner Dupnick, Judge Goddison.
Aye, motion passes. Item number 27.
Move to approve the updated billing policy. Texas Association of Counties Health and Employees Benefit Pool. And authorize county to execute necessary documents.
Got a motion and a second.
Good
Morning.
So we have our medical, dental, vision, and basic life through TAC. So they're just sending us their updated billing policies. It includes the fees, just their billing procedures. We never pay late, so they should never apply to us, but we do have to sign it, so.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterly,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Goddison.
Aye, motion passes. Item number 28.
Move to approve budget line items.
Second.
Got a motion and a second?
We have none at this time.
Nice.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterly,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo, Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Goddison.
Aye, motion passes. Item number 29.
Move to approve accounts payable and payroll, last payroll liability.
Second.
Got a motion and a second.
The normal accounts payable, payroll and payroll liabilities, I would like to actually point out some. We have in our capital projects fund 430, we have Mount McDonald for Cedar Bayou. $1,425. That one is almost totally.
That was good.
Yeah, we're just waiting for, they have to do one final review at the end of the year, and that then we're totally.
So after this payment, we're done.
We have about maybe $10,000, we still have, it's a very small amount. BLS for the generators of generator of the transfer station invoice for $26,958. Mont McDonald for the street projects, the GLO street projects, total $72,897.07. Operation Lone Star for some expenses with that was $1,466.95. And H2O Partners, they are the company that is doing our mitigation action plan. $13,520. That one is also a GLO grant project. We have co-file under the ARPA funds of $22,735.81. That's district clerks. Under the courthouse, we have Broadus and Associates, $6,967.95. And I'm also wanting to walk in and get approval to pay for LCR total transport for Southwest. They have 3 invoices that total
$251,180 even. I'd like to get approval for that one to pay also.
And that was for what company did?
LCR Total Transport, it's for the Southwest drainage project.
Motion need to be changed to include it.
No, I think doesn't need to be.
Maybe just to recognize because it wasn't on the original list, I would say, yeah.
Okay.
We did not have it until late Friday, so.
Made the motion.
What is that dollar amount?
$251,180. It's 3 separate invoices, but that's the total. $251,180.
I will amend my original motion. Those also include paying LCR Total Transport the amount of $251,180 for work done on Southwest State Drainage Project, 3 invoices. I'll second that.
All right.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
Judge Grayson.
Hi, motion passes. All right, getting near the end. At this time, we'll hear reports from commissioners, elected officials, and department heads. No action will be taken. Commissioners?
I was out of the country 2 weeks ago. I apologize for missing the commissioners court meeting. I don't believe I've missed more than one commissioners court meeting in over 4 years. However, it was a trip that was planned by others and I had to go on those dates. So I regret that. I'll try not to miss any more for the rest of this term. However, when I returned, I found an email. I believe it was from Michael Miller, not sure. And it was dated possibly April 15th, referring to court that had happened on April 14th. My concern is there was a letter attached to that email dated April 4th that read, it was from Teal, and it read to Aransas County Judge and Commissioners, plural, care of Neil Sinclair, regarding costs for, I think it's general contractors to date and terms and conditions for the completion of the Aransas County Courthouse. I was here until April 8th. I never got a copy of that letter until I returned on April 18th. I am concerned if there is any information that comes in to anyone, the judge, county attorney, Neil Sinclair, who is an contracted person with Aransas County. If it says to the commissioners, I want it to go to the commissioners as soon as it is received. I want to register that in my remarks, and I'd like to be sure that that happens for future reference. Thank you.
Commissioners? Any other elected officials? All right.
I'd like to concur with Commissioner Russo on that because to me, I don't know if it's illegal or not to share that if it's addressed to people, but it is unethical not for us not to have information. We're making decisions on the courthouse right now, by all accounts, is $23 million in timing. And I've made comments before, we need to have full information, not filtered information, so we can make these decisions. Because this process, we're elected officials and we need to have the full information to make these decisions that affect our county citizens.
All right. All right. Move on to reports about items of community interest. No action will be taken. Anybody got anything? All right. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to go to closed session.
Commissioner Cheney.
Move to convene into closed session to consult with counsel, receive legal advice about pending or contemplated litigation, settlement offers, or other attorney-client privilege matters, including but not limited to the items listed below. Aransas County, Texas versus Endurance American Specialty Insurance Company et al. Aransas County District Court cause number 3-0021. Number 2. North Park Recovery Service Inc. versus Aransas County Independent School District and Aransas County. This County District Court Clause number 23-0066. Consolidated with North Star Recovery Services versus HR&R et al. Kansas County District Court Clause number 20-0159. Number 3, Western Steel Company versus T2J Partners LLC, DIE/A, FCS Recovery LLC, in Aransas County, Texas. Cause number 24-0072 in the 36th District Court of Aransas County. 4, Ocaso Building Envelope Inc. does business as Ram Architectural Products versus Sharp Glass LLC et al. Aransas County District Court cause number 24-0099. Number 5, county's permissible actions under its various contracts with the Downtown Anchor Project. Number 6, Services Inc., Public Information Act request. Pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071, also known as Texas Open Meetings Act, authorizes closed session meetings to allow for a governmental body to consult with its attorneys and receive advice on legal matters pertaining to pending or contemplated litigation, a settlement offer, or on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with the Open Meetings Act.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Dennison.
Aye. All right, give us about 8 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know, 3, is that also going to be voted in the session? So do we need to do that in also?
33.
Yeah, we'll discuss that after closed session.
Okay, that'll be discussed now.
Right.
Michael and Steve.
You don't have to wait for those written. Here. No, there's no. Okay, that's.
I have to talk to the sheriff for just a moment.
All right.
All right, 12:46. Do I have a motion to go back into open session?
Second.
Got a motion? Second.
Commissioner Cheney. Commissioner Casterline. Commissioner Russo. Commissioner Dupnick. and Judge Garth.
Hi, all right, we are back in open session and we're not gonna take any action on anything discussed in closed. Motion.
Second.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo. Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
Hi, we are adjourned. Thank you all.